I remember looking at my bank account when I was like 24 and I had literally $70. And I felt this cold panic because I was working 60 hours a week. And I just thought, how is this possible?
Oh, that feeling. It's the worst. It's that hamster wheel feeling, right? You're running and just not going anywhere.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about today. Welcome back to Income After Hours. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ever. And today we are getting into the biggest money mistake we both made in our 20s. And I think it's going to be a lot more relatable than people might expect.
Yeah, it's not what you think. It's not about, buying a bad stock or something. It's way more fundamental than that. For me, the biggest mistake was believing that working harder was the answer to everything.
The hustle culture trap.
Totally. I had my 9 to 5, which was fine, paid the bills, but I wanted more. So I started freelancing on the side. I was driving for a rideshare app on weekends. I was literally working from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep.
Oh my gosh, Alex. I remember those days. You were a ghost.
I was a zombie. And the crazy part is my income went up for sure, but my bank account, it didn't really change. I was making more, but I was also spending more. More coffee to stay awake, more takeout because I was too tired to cook. I even had to get my car fixed more often because I was driving it into the ground.
Right. The hidden costs of hustling. No one talks about that. It's like your life gets more expensive the harder you work just to support the work itself.
Exactly. And the whole time I'm thinking, I just need to land one more client, or I just need to work 2 more Saturdays. I thought effort was the only variable. I had no system for my money. It came in and it went right back out. I wasn't telling it where to go.
That's so powerful. I wasn't telling it where to go. It's so true. You were just focused on the tap trying to make the water flow faster, but you didn't have a bucket to catch it.
That's the perfect analogy. So I was burned out, stressed, and still broke. That was my big mistake. What about you? Yours was kind of the opposite in a way, right?
Yeah, it really was. My mistake wasn't working too hard. It was a mindset thing. It was this deep-seated belief that I was bad with money, so I just ignored it.
Ignored it? What do you mean?
I literally would not look at my bank account. For weeks, I would just use my debit card and kind of hope for the best.
Oh, wow. The anxiety of that.
It was immense, but in my head, the anxiety of looking was even worse, because if I looked, the problem would be real. If I didn't look, I could pretend everything was okay. And I coupled that with a really bad treat yourself habit.
Ah, yes, the classic.
Right? Had a tough day at work? I deserve this $20 lunch. Feeling a little down? This new sweater will fix it. I was using money to manage my emotions instead of, actually managing my emotions.
So while I was grinding myself into dust trying to earn an extra dollar, you were kind of letting it slip through your fingers because of a mindset trap.
Completely. And I thought budgeting was this horrible, restrictive thing that only super serious, boring people did. I didn't realize that not having a plan was way more restrictive. It kept me trapped. I couldn't make any big moves. I couldn't think about traveling. I couldn't even leave a job I disliked because I had no safety net. That financial avoidance cost me years of freedom.
That's the thing, isn't it? Our 2 mistakes sound different on the surface, hustle culture versus financial avoidance, but the root cause is the same.
What do you think it is?
We were both just passive. I was passive about where my hard-earned money went, and you were passive about where your money was going in general. We didn't have a system. We were both letting life happen to our finances instead of creating a financial system to support our lives.
Exactly. And that's the trap so many people in their 20s fall into. We're taught to get a good job and work hard, but nobody teaches us what to do after the paycheck hits the bank. It's like we're given a car with a full tank of gas, but no GPS and no idea how to drive.
No GPS. That's it. So what was the turning point for you? When did you decide to actually look at the map?
Honestly, it was embarrassing. My card got declined buying groceries. It was a cart full of, essentials, and it didn't go through. I had to put it all back. It was humiliating, and I just stood in the parking lot and cried. That was my rock bottom. I knew I couldn't live with that level of anxiety and shame anymore.
Wow, Emma, I'm sorry. That sounds awful. But sometimes you need that kind of wake-up call.
I did. That night, I went home and I did the scary thing. I logged into my bank account, I pulled up my credit card statements, and I just looked. I didn't judge, I just looked at the numbers. It wasn't as bad as I'd imagined, but it wasn't good. The biggest surprise was how much money I was spending on nothing. Little things. Coffees, lunches, random online purchases.
The death by a thousand cuts.
Totally. And that's when I built the simplest system ever. I set up an automatic transfer, just $50. The day after I got paid, $50 would just vanish from my checking account and go into a savings account at a totally different bank, one I couldn't easily access.
Pay yourself first, the classic advice for a reason.
For a reason, because it works. I didn't even miss the $50, and after a few months, I had a few $100s saved. It was the first time I'd ever had a buffer. It felt like magic. That tiny system changed my entire mindset.
My moment was similar. It wasn't one big event, but just cumulative burnout. I got sick. My body just gave out. I was so exhausted I couldn't work for a week. And in that week of silence with no side hustles, I realized my entire identity was tied to being busy. And for what? To be stuck in the same financial spot?
You had to slow down to see clearly.
Yeah, so I started my own simple system. I tracked just one thing, my hourly rate from my side hustles. Not just the money I made, but the money I made divided by the hours I worked minus the expenses. When I saw I was making like $4 an hour after gas and taxes from driving, I quit immediately. It wasn't worth it. I freed up 10 hours a week and my finances didn't even change.
It's amazing how much time you can free up when you start to value it properly. I think a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking that all side hustles are good hustles, but if you're not careful, you can end up spending a lot of time and energy for very little reward.
That's incredible. It's about being intentional. You started treating your time like money, and I started treating my money with intention. It's the same principle.
Right, and I think there are other little habits and mindset traps that keep people stuck in this cycle, like lifestyle inflation. You get a raise at work, you're so excited, and what's the first thing you do?
Upgrade something. A bigger apartment, a nicer car, more subscriptions.
Yeah, and suddenly that $300 extra a month is just gone. You're back to feeling broke, just with nicer stuff. The trick is to take half of that raise and pretend it never happened. Just send it straight to savings or investments. That's such a good, simple rule. Another one is not talking about money. We're taught it's taboo. But if you can find one friend you trust to talk to, even just to say, hey, I'm trying to save for a trip, let's do a free activity this weekend, it changes everything. You stop feeling so alone in it.
It breaks the shame cycle, which is what kept you stuck for so long.
Completely. It all comes back to simple systems and an intentional mindset. It's not about complex spreadsheets or becoming an investment genius overnight.
So, if we had to boil it down, what's the key takeaway here? The biggest mistake isn't one specific action, it's a way of being.
I think so. The biggest mistake is thinking that working hard is the whole picture. It's a huge piece, but it's not everything. If you don't have a simple system to manage what you earn, you'll just spin your wheels forever.
It's about being the boss of your money, even if it's just a little bit of money to start with. A tiny bit of automation, a tiny bit of awareness, that's the game changer. That's what gets you off the hamster wheel.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I hope this helps someone listening who feels as stuck as we did.
Me too. Well, that's all the time we have for today. If you got value from this episode, let us know in the comments, follow the show, and give it a like. See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.